What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, feels like we haven't really done many videos recently. It's kind of at that spot now where, you're going to get limited information and there's going to be another 2 months of this, unfortunately. But we did get some news today coming out of Indianapolis, and we have it to where Colts offensive line coach Tony Barano Jr. says the plan is for Matt Goncalves to start at right guard this season. When asked on his belief in Matt Goncalves to be the right guard, said that he has power, he has length, and he's deceptively light on his feet. Says he's quick, he can get into space. Plus, he's a really tough physical player, which for our guards, that is non-negotiable. So he says basically Matt Goncalves has everything that you could ask for to be a right guard for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't have the stat right up in front of me right here if somebody wants to fact check me, but I don't believe that Matt Goncalves has played right guard before. I'm pretty sure he has played guard in college. At least I know for a fact he hasn't played right guard in the NFL yet. But obviously the news now that with Braden Smith coming back, looking to come back this year, Matt Goncalves, who covered for Braden Smith during that time, looks like he's going to get a shot at the right guard position to start out. Cody, what's your reaction to this news?
Well, I think we pretty much got our answer after how the Colts approached the draft, didn't we? Because that was a big question of like, are they going to take a guard in the first, 2 days of the draft or whatever, or even, round 5, for example? Like, are they going to address it in some way? And they didn't at all. In fact, they addressed tackle instead of guard, which kind of, I think, for a lot of us, led us to make that conclusion like, oh, okay, so obviously they view Matt Goncalves as more of a guard option. And Derek, I know a lot of people when the Colts drafted him in 2024 projected him more as a guard to begin with, right? And we even had conversations, as silly as they sound now, about could he compete with Will Fries for right guard in 2024? And obviously didn't happen that way. He played more of the tackles. He played some left. He played some right. But I think all along I've kind of felt like Matt Goncalves, for just the type of player he is at the NFL level, as good as I think he was at right tackle, I do think you do see, Derek, more of a projection to guard just because of some of the physical things that he provides. And, just I think he just has that kind of like that raw power. He's kind of like that. He seems like kind of like that road grader guy, like that you can plug into right guard. He's less finesse and a little bit more power there. So I think just overall, it's a better fit. I mean, I think we looked at it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when he got drafted, his physical profile was better suited for a guard than a tackle in terms of athletic scores. So, yeah, I do think overall a right guard is a good fit for him in the long term. I really do believe that. But the good thing about Goncalves is you now know he's position flexible, right? He can play both guard and tackle. He's going to play guard this year. He played tackle last year. So that's definitely good for him. But, yeah, for a guy that's, entering year 2, he's going to be cheap for the next number of years. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially like you said, with Braden Smith coming back and going to be your right tackle this year. You did draft, a tackle there in day 2 with Jalen Travis. So you do have at least some depth there. So I think it makes some sense there to slide him down to right guard, a position that I think long-term he can be at. Or if, say, the Colts decide next year, if they don't decide to retain Braden Smith, they want to move him back, he still can play right tackle. He's had experience now at both. So, we talk about all the time, Derek, the importance of having some players on your offensive line that can kind of be the Swiss Army knife, right? That can play a couple different positions and play them at a high level. And if this transition goes as well as I think it will, I do believe that Matt Goncalves can be one of those Swiss Army knife type of players that can play both positions. And heck, he played left tackle a little bit last year too. So maybe he can play some left guard if needed as well, which is definitely so valuable to have a guy that can play it and not just play it, but play it well. That's invaluable for your offensive line.
Yeah, 100%. And, I have full confidence in Matt Goncalves to be able to figure it out. I mean, he did a phenomenal job stepping in at right tackle last season, and doesn't give me any reason to think that he won't be able to translate that to the right guard spot. I mean, working right next to Tanner Bortolini, and then, of course, right next to Braden Smith. So I really think that those guys could really put a lot of great things together on that right side. I mean, to be completely honest, Cody, if we're looking at it, I mean, with this offensive line at full health, if you have Bernard Ryman, Quentin Nelson, Tanner Bortolini, Matt Goncalves, and Braden Smith, I mean, there's not a single spot on that offensive line where I look at and say that's weakness. I mean, obviously, I have Will Fries from before. Obviously, Will Fries got injured this last year, but I mean, talk about a unit that can move people in the run game, especially. I mean, we thought it was really good last year when Jonathan Taylor, towards the end of that season. I mean, that might be an all year thing if those guys remain healthy. I really do feel like the run game this year is going to just benefit super greatly with Gonsalves at right guard. Ultimate question is now what do the Colts do as far as depth behind Matt Gonsalves? That's going to be the big question mark. Don't be surprised if Ballard ends up bringing one or two guys in during training camp to be able to try to be behind Matt Gonsalves, because there's a lot of guys that get cut during that time, and definitely look for Ballard to try to add some more depth to that area.
Yeah, for sure. And even somebody to just compete with him in there, I wouldn't mind that at all. Although obviously you'd prefer if Matt Gonsalves started, because he is the guy that you just drafted pretty high value there, in round 3. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that'd be an issue at all there. The good thing is you do have some guys that I think can play guard in a pinch. Now, obviously you don't want them long term, but you have a few guys you feel okay about at guard, but definitely wouldn't mind another depth signing or two there just to add a little bit more depth there. But yeah, as far as Matt Gonsalves goes, Derek, I just think for his skill set and just some of maybe his weaknesses a little bit, you talk about a little bit of the flexibility. He doesn't have as great a flexibility as you'd like for an NFL tackle. Some of those things that he struggled in. I know pass pro, he had some up and down moments. So you figure maybe if he moves more interior, that'll help with some of those weaknesses a little bit more. But yeah, man, overall, I do think it's a good move. I think it's a move that makes sense for the Indianapolis Colts long term. And I think it's good to have a guy that you can rely on and feel confident wherever he's at. If it's right tackle, if it's left tackle, if it's right guard, if it's left guard, you feel like he can come in and provide some quality snaps, which is massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, guys, we were not really surprised by this. We heard Ballard and Shane Steichen after day 3, their pressers saying that it was likely an option that they would consider to move Gonsalves to right guard. And from what it sounds like, is that sure sounds like that's what's going to happen. Again, anything can change, but sure sounds like that's what's going to happen. Let us know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you like this move? Do you not? But let us know in the comments. Thank you guys so much again for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, go Colts.